Hi everyone.
What's good?
I'm Titi Wanashe.
I'm Leek Molly.
And
We're the Centuries.
And we're here to have a conversation with y'all about
So,
what's coming up next. The Jack and Jill album. And we've been putting out a lot of different content lately, but we are so excited to talk about Jack and Jill.
yeah.
And talk about the project and put it out, and it has been like a genre-y, to say the least. And we just want to talk about that journey.
Yeah, it's been over 3 years.
It has, and it's been like, so this is like podcast vibes, honestly. And we're just trying to get like a lot more content out for you guys. We've been doing a lot behind the scenes, but it's time for us to be inside the scenes, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Anything you would like to say, Leek Molly?
Hey, I'm just ready for y'all to hear this shit, man. Like, it's been over 3 years, like I said, and I feel like, in terms of storytelling, which is like one of my favorite aspects of music, and yeah, it's just been a long time, bro. So I'm just ready for the people to hear, things that I've been working on, that we've been working on behind closed doors for a long time. I feel like there was a lot of talk about it, but now we finally get to present it. So, I'm excited.
Yes. So, just a little side note before we get into the questions. Mind you, we're asking each other these questions. I don't know what he asked, and he doesn't know what I asked. It might be the exact same questions. Would not be surprised. But, yes, we started 3 years ago. What this project looked like 3 years ago, all but 2 of the songs don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
And we put our feet on the ground and started running genuinely in October of last year. Oh, sorry.
In terms...
Just kidding. June.
Yeah, June of last year. I mean, we was in the studio at that time, but in terms of saying planning a release date for something, yeah, like October, September.
No, I think I want to talk about, I meant like when we started working on this project. You know what I'm saying? Like
years ago or like last year?
Like last year, like when we started, like we had 8 songs coming out. 2 of the 8 were already written and the concept was already there.
Sure.
The other 6 have been created in June.
Yeah.
Give or take. Right?
Give or take. But within his last 3 years, the story has been, I feel like we built upon the story within the years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a huge break and us doing nothing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, making, creating, and throwing away sometimes in this process. So.
For sure. Which brings me into, basically, like, I guess the line that we have for Jack and Jill. Can I start with my question?
Go ahead.
Well, preference. This is not a representation of Leek Molly and Titi Wanashe. Please. This is not what that is. Yeah. But a reflection of the things that we've seen, of the things that we've watched, whether it be like, YouTube videos or personal stories from other people that we've met in our life, not even our friends or family. So don't be trying to figure out who's what, because it's not. It's made up. It's pretend. We made it up. In our brain.
Yeah. But these stories are real to somebody.
Yeah.
Just not us.
No. So don't get uncomfortable when you hear some of the songs. Don't worry. How did it all begin?
How did this all begin? Shit. Well, Towson University. We're both college graduates. And during that time, obviously we majored in something more of academic sense, I guess. But, extracurricular, like behind closed doors, we was always working on music individually. And, I heard a lot about Tadiwa on campus in terms of her singing ability, her poetic, justice,
was I being
if you want to say that. And I just felt like I just wanted to work with her. Like, so we got in the studio, You know, we didn't talk about it for too long. We just got in the studio and started, you know, creating. And that song, the first song that we created, it's not the morning. It was one of my songs, right?
It was a song that's never come out.
Yeah, it was one of my throwaways, I guess. At the time, it wasn't a throwaway, but it's never came out. But I
learned how to scat for that song.
I remember that one.
I learned how to do a trumpet.
Yeah. I always like to come a little different, you know what I'm saying? Just to add some more musicality to rap, you know, that's what I do mainly. But Centennial Park too. We started in the pandemic.
Yeah.
In the pandemic, COVID-19, you know, everybody was sick and stuff like that. We went to Centennial conversations, a lot of walking, a lot of talking, just getting to know each other. So, you know,
hours. 6 hours.
Yeah. That was a good time because, you know, a lot of people were locked in the house, and that was just a time,
outside,
you know, once a week that we could just get out and just socialize a bit, you know, but still social distance at the same time.
Yeah. We also got lost in the woods. But anyway, I
remember that.
Sorry, I'm gonna look at my next question. Okay, you kind of went into it, like who we were before the centuries. Yeah, I was a poet. So was he.
Yeah.
My side of the story, yes. He said he met me in the BSU. Don't remember, but I knew about I knew about his poetics, I knew about his rap, and I really wanted to work with him. So the link was mutual.
Yes, sir.
And he had a hit on campus.
Yeah,
all I knew was
hit.
when he came in the room, people was like, new phone, who's this? Anyway, so that was the centuries. Well, that wasn't the centuries. That's just who we were before we were the centuries.
Yeah.
Speaking of the centuries, what does that mean? And no, it's not centuries. That's what
centrues.
Centrues. Centruese.
Centruese. What does that mean to me?
Not to you. Well,
period.
What does it mean?
Okay, what does it mean? Sending truth at ease for centuries. Like, we basically want our music to live forever, and in order for that to happen, we have to send truth. We have to tell factual stories that people are living day in, day out. It might not be us, but these stories and these lyrics that we write, you know, are in some form reality, you know. So we always want to send that truth to people and just ease your mind at the same time.
Yeah,
you know?
Make you feel good about real shit, about true shit. I do just want to say that I presented this name to people, and they were like, what is that?
To people.
And I was like, people. I was like, yo, this shit is fire. And people was like, I don't know.
I'm people. At first, I ain't like it. I didn't really understand where she was coming at it. I didn't know where she was going with it. You know what I'm saying? But after a couple of days of sitting with it, and she actually spelled it out for me so I can see it visually, and I was like, oh, okay, this is sweet. And how she capitalized the E to like put the E's on EZ. You know, that was sweet. So like I was like, okay, this is different. It kind of stood out like the Beatles, you know what I'm saying? Or the Stylistics, like it was like it's grand, you know?
Grandiose.
Yeah.
Okay. I hit a couple points. You go ahead.
Okay. My first question for you. I would say my first question is, what is your favorite time during the process of creating the Jack and Jill project, or just establishing who the centuries are? What is your favorite
time?
Your favorite time, favorite moment?
All the times that we have recorded Jill Scotch. Because we have recorded it in different phases of who we are.
Wow.
And I didn't even think I was going to come out with that answer, but yes.
That was nice.
This was the first or second song that we came up with. Probably the second.
Yeah.
And we had been watching a lot of the underbelly.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like, again, like we said, end of 2020. And we were just watching interviews about people from different walks of life. And this lady was just so dope. I might put the clip in. And she was like,
and I'll be so quick before you can wink your eye, because I got that sunshine. Never had a problem satisfying a client.
got that sunshine, baby.
Yeah.
And we were...
She's a lady pimp.
Yeah, she did crazy things. And we were like in the beginning stages of just working together. And then we recorded it in California, which is something I will never forget. While my brother was there and everything, we've recorded it in Atlanta. Before we moved to Atlanta, we recorded it in Maryland. So it has followed us through time, and it has been people's favorites. So yes, that has been my favorite moment, because we've done a lot of different stuff. That is the one thing that has remained the same.
Yeah, it literally was damn near, it wasn't a century, but it felt like a century.
Yeah.
You know, recording that shit over and over again, and actually finally, you know, coming out with it February of 2024. You know, but that's the true essence of the centuries. Like, we really live with that, you know. So we finally gave it to the world, and it seems like we got good feedback. Like, I'm happy. Whether we got good feedback or not, I still was gonna be happy with it regardless, because of the work we put in behind it.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know how much work was put into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question.
Let me go again. All right. So, how much improvement have you seen in us individually as artists through this process? Be specific if you can.
Oh, I can be so specific.
Okay.
As an artist, I'm not a lazy artist, but I procrastinate. So I think that what you bring to the table is urgency in terms of our artistry. And so I have learned to become more serious. It's very hard, because I'm a very silly girl in a very silly world. Mm-hmm. But learning to like take this more serious, and also believe in myself and my art has really, cool. From the start of centuries. For you, I would say that I helped you learn how to sing. And I'm laughing, but it's like I'm dead ass.
She did.
And I have seen you like just be able to use your voice in so many different unique ways. Mm-hmm. And how would you answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, for you, I would say you got so much more creative with writing your verses. And I feel like, I mean, you was always good, but I feel like as we continue to work with each other, I felt like you were like, I don't know if you was doing this before, but I think now for sure you're like silently competing with me. And, you know, my focal point is rapping. Yeah. You know, your focal point is mainly singing.
Yeah.
You know, you can rap, but that's usually my thing, like overall. But like, I feel like, especially on our outro of this project, like that shit really hit home for me.
Oh, really?
That's probably my favorite verse of yours on the project.
Oh my gosh, wait. That was one of my questions, but go ahead.
I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I just feel like you've improved as a rapper.
Oh, thank you.
You've improved as a rapper, and wordplay and theatrics and all of that shit. And yeah, kudos to you. For myself, I think I've improved in songwriting in general. Yeah. Not even just rapping, but just coming up with song ideas, coming up with hook ideas, you know, improving on, you know, writing hooks and stuff like that. I think that just came with just my practice outside of making Jack and Jill. Just been working on songwriting in general with other producers, like outside producers and stuff like that. Just not my personal music. So just getting in a space of being more diverse within my writing, I love that, for myself and my improvement. So
I'm going to take a pause right here to make sure we're actually still recording.
okay.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. So, well, you answered this a little bit, but what is your favorite song? Okay. It's a two-part question.
Okay.
What is your favorite song?
Okay.
And then what is your favorite, like, verse or line of mine? And then I'll do the same for you.
Okay. My favorite song on the Jack and Jill project is Infinity War Cry.
Okay.
It's Infinity War Cry because I love all the other songs, and there's other songs like Drive Slow is like, I really love that. But like Infinity War Cry means more to me personally, even though this Jack and Jill project is not a personal story of ours, but that's the most personal that you'll get with me on this project is Infinity War Cry. And
Same.
that song actually wasn't the Centuries at the first. It wasn't a Centuries track.
I really wanted it.
Yeah, it was not a throwaway, but in the making, in the works for a deluxe for my Emotional Gangster project. Remember, we had individual artistry before the Centuries. So, but that song means so much to me because it was so diverse in terms of the content of it. Like, I felt like it spoke to me, but also spoke to this story of Jack and Jill that we just made up. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like that story fit in so many different boxes. So I was just like, to D would mention it, I was just like, all right, we could bring it over. And within the verses, the song is like 9 minutes long. So it's basically like a sing about me, I'm dying to thirst type of track right there. It's like a very deep cut. And it's like basically a summary of the whole album, basically. And we also implement our personal lives within the character of Jack and Jill within that track. So I love deep cuts. Deep cuts is always the best songs, but the least played. So, it was a second part of that question.
What was your favorite verse or line of each other?
My favorite verse of yours was the verse on Fool's Gold.
Oh, really?
Fool's Gold.
You just said it was Infinity War Cry.
Other than that one, I'm
okay.
going to another. Okay. Like there was a line on there. You said, "Papa was a rolling stone. Fruit don't fall far from tree. It's a shame you could keep me not so sweet tea." And it was like the wordplay, the entendre of it's not so sweet tea. Like it's not. I'm not sweet, but her nickname is T. You know what I'm saying? So it was like. It's just kind of cool the way you set that up. And
it was intense.
It's a tie with Infinity War Cry, too, because the story that you told on there is, like, very personal. It's glimpses of stories about your brother, which is somebody I really love within the time that I knew him. It wasn't, I didn't know him all of my life, but for the time I did, he was a really good guy, good family guy, very hospitable. Brought us into his own home.
Very crazy, very awesome.
We explored the whole state of California because of him, and I appreciate that. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go get me some. But outside of that, I'm gonna answer the question now because I don't want to do that with you right now, right here on the radio. Good. My favorite song is Fool's Gold. It's just a banger.
It's a good song. And it's an interlude.
Yeah, it is an interlude. And it's just a really cool song. But my favorite verse of yours is actually on a song that I'm over, but I love your verse on it. And it's the phone song.
The phone song.
Yeah.
It's clean.
It's like, yeah.
It's clean.
And I'm trying to remember the part that I like, but I easily don't know it.
Yes. Yeah, I just skated.
Yeah.
I just skated.
Yeah. I really liked that. Okay. Cool. I kind of did like a 2-in-1. Oh,
Okay.
Can we talk about the story of Jack and Jill?
Yeah.
Meaning, yeah.
This is a like a lovers in demise story. You know, these two people, you know, just like anybody else in the world, they go through things, but how you deal with them is everything. You know, these two characters dealt with them, I would say, the wrong way. I personally, in my personal life, wouldn't deal with my issues like this. You know, resulting to drugs, resulting to
Sex, like just using sex.
yeah,
Sex.
in a negative connotation.
Yeah.
You know, prostitution, you know, pimping, all of that stuff is just, you know, somewhat of a negative lifestyle. And, you know, I would rather you deal with your problems by, you know, talking it out, talking to the family, talking to your loved ones, going to therapy, you know, finding some kind of spiritual guidance within your issues in life, you know. But Jack and Jill, they're lovers at the end of the day. Whether you, like, it's love within every walk of life, you know, and it's just like a emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like what you said, that there's love in every walk of life.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that we view, like, in society may be viewed as, like, a certain way. And it's like, no, they still have love, even if even if it's not the best way of expressing it. It's like everyone, at the end of the day, is trying to love and be loved. Oh. Okay. So, I really liked what you had previously brought up. Another aspect of Jack and Jill is actually the childhood story of Jack went down the hill and Jill went tumbling after. And within the story, you can see that Jack is somebody who is perceived to be at the top of his game, but really not, because of all the things that he's using to cope with whatever he's got going on within himself. And in an attempt for Jill to kind of, you know, want to get into his world and at first kind of mess with him and just see what's up and what it's about, she ends up falling into her own pits of despair as well within herself. So, yeah, I really like that aspect of Jack and Jill, and that's where the name, the title comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the adult version of someone falling down a hill, and that's what happens when you try to chase somebody off a mountain.
How much of this project, in percentage wise, do you think you are in Jill?
I think that there are aspects of Jill that are my unrefined thoughts. Like, I would never act in certain ways that my character does.
Yeah.
But it definitely be a fleeting thought. like in Fool's Gold, it's a shame you thought you could keep me.
That's
Like,
so sweet to you.
yeah, like, I'm not so sweet. Mind you, I am. But it'll be a quick thought, and then I'll be like, I'm tripping. You know? Or even like the phone song. I have never in my life talked to anybody crazy like that. And I should have. But I don't. I just don't talk to people crazy.
Yeah.
I might need to learn a couple things from Jill, honestly.
Well, you say all the time that you wish you had that with some people, because some people just be having you fucked up sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but
It's just not in me.
I feel you though.
I let God have it.
So like 10, 15%? Like 10%?
It depends what day you catch me on.
A day? Okay, it depends what day.
Oh, you know what? Like a song like Don Julio,
Uh-huh.
I think that's like 80% me, in the sense of like warning people, like, these hoes ain't gonna do nothing for you. All these groupie hoes ain't gonna fill the holes inside your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's very like me speaking my truth.
Okay.
So yeah, 15. To answer your question.
Makes sense.
Was that just a fly question or something you had planned?
I had it planned, but it tied into your last
Okay.
question. So,
Well, how much of Jack is in you, sir?
how much of Jack? I would say like, I think my percentage is higher than yours.
Jump scare.
Just a little bit, maybe like 20%. Maybe like 20%. Cause
Plus what?
Jack is cool. You know what I'm saying? He's a fly guy. You know, most likely like a ladies' man type of thing. Like have his way to a certain extent.
Cool
He's a pimp.
fly guy. Are you a pimp?
I'm not a pimp, but if I was ever, like, say if me and you ever picked to be a criminal, like what criminal we would be, I would pick to be a pimp.
Okay.
Like, I'm not killing nobody. You know what I'm saying?
You're just kind of
I'm
selling
not-
women.
No, but I wouldn't be no, like, gorilla pimp or nothing like that. You know, I would, you know, I treat people how I want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not putting my hands on nobody and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be around me, you don't got to be around me. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like in terms of an underworld, that would fit my personality the most. I'm not no thief. I don't steal from people. I don't kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing no fraud, no none of that.
You're just selling women.
No. They doing what they want to do. They around me because they want to be around me. They want to leave, they can leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, pick a criminal. Pick a
I
criminal.
don't want to be a criminal.
You don't want to be, but like if you were, what would you be?
I'd probably steal some shit from big companies.
Yeah, see, I'm not no thief.
You're just selling women.
No, I'm not selling women. They selling themselves. That's their choice. You know what I'm saying? They just happen to live with me. That's all.
Anyway.
So stealing is worse than me. I ain't stealing from nobody. Like, that's wild. Everything is a choice in my end. On the other hand, I don't know.
From wealthy companies that would not. Anyway, we got sidetracked.
Hey,
Let's run this back.
that's a good topic though. Think about that. Like, if you were a criminal, like in the
literally-
underworld, what would you be? Once upon a time, pimps weren't criminals. Once upon a time.
But you really dying on that pimp hill.
But out of all the criminals,
It's a crazy hill to die.
That's what I would be. Out of all the criminals.
Yeah, you just sell women.
No. I don't sell women. I'm
Anyway.
not. That's not trafficking. That's different.
Let's move forward.
All right.
What are hopes for this project?
Hopes for this project. I would love for this project to be the most successful project that I've ever been a part of. You know, that I've, laid my vocals on, because I think this project is definitely the project I worked on the longest. So, like, I feel like I would want the outcome to be the greatest out of anything that I touched. I wanted to touch the people, that it really relates with. Like, these stories are not our stories, but they relate with somebody, and I would love for them to hear it so they could live with this. You know what I'm saying? So, to some extent, I would like this to be like the project that people notice us. You know what I'm saying? Notice, like, real underground artists who really are talented and really deserve to get a shot at this. Yeah.
I feel like when you're an artist and you haven't put something out in a really long time, like, I agree with what all you said, but I really just want no cocky shit people to know that I'm like that.
No, you should feel that. You should feel that way.
Yeah. And my love languages are words of affirmation, so I just want to do a good job, Larry.
Shout out Larry June.
Yeah.
Good job.
Larry, good job, Larry. Anyway, so I just want the work that I've done to be seen.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a long journey, but I also hope that people relate to the characters in the world that we've created.
For sure.
And I really hope that people like the music, and I do hope it brings them ease, and I do hope that it makes them feel good. I would love for it to open up more doors for us to continue to do exactly what we love on a grander scale, so that eventually we can make an impact with our music.
For sure.
And I think to say that, say 10, 20, 50 people listen and they liked it, that's an impact, but I want to make an impact. You know what I'm saying?
Masses.
Yeah, and I want to be able to have platforms that, like, more than just music, give people ease, if that makes sense.
We trying to get paid. We don't do this for our health. We are honestly too good. Somebody knocking on the door while we trying to film this shit.
All right. Okay, yeah. We're trying to get paid.
Definitely
Trying to get paid.
Yeah, we don't do this for our health, and I feel like I feel like our work has got to a level of professionalism.
Yeah.
It's professional. It can make it within the industry. You know what I'm saying? Half of the artists that rap nowadays, niggas could rap circles around you. Niggas could write circles around you. You know what I'm saying? And like, we creative. It's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The game needs something different. Need a change.
I definitely feel like we definitely need a change in the music that's popular. And I wouldn't say that the topics that we're touching are any different. We're still talking about, sex and relationships that don't work, but we're just coming at it from a different perspective.
Different angle
A
and
different
shit.
angle, and like a different yeah.
It's the way you say it. Now, what you say is how you say it, basically.
Yes. And sometimes it's not necessarily the message, but the messenger. Yeah. Do you have any more questions?
Let me see. I might have a couple. Why? And nobody knows this, but they about to know. You know what? I'm not even about to.
No, you can't. You can't get into why and not say nothing.
I'm going back to Infinity War Cry.
Okay.
What about that song? It obviously means something to you. Why did it take you so long to finish your verse? And it's nothing wrong with artists taking time out to, write songs. Sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes an hour, 30 minutes, but sometimes it takes a month. So why did it...
Are you asking for interview purposes, or do you really not know why it took so long for me to write the verse? Do you know why?
I kind of do.
Uh-huh.
But I also want the people to hear.
Okay.
Too.
It's okay if you don't know.
I kind of know.
Okay.
Maybe like 60%.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know, it took me a long time I usually write a verse in the moment, like within...
Real quick.
Within an hour, I have the verse, and an hour is like... That's like, why are you taking so long? So within...
She being modest when she say that too.
Yeah, within 10 minutes, I'm done. So a lot of these verses you guys are hearing, I heard the beat, I listened maybe once or twice, and then I was done. And I'm saying, yeah, pretty much once. It took me months to write the verse for Infinity War Cry, because my brother died. He just wants me to cry. So my brother died. And when people die, it makes you really emotional. So my initial verse was a spew of everything I ever felt negative about anybody and feeling very alone, and it wasn't an accurate representation of the love I did have around me, and I didn't feel comfortable putting that out and cringing at, and it's not even vulnerability, just pure messiness. That was what my mental state was after my brother died. So I had to take time to really figure out what it is I was gonna say. Up until I say some dreams, mostly nightmares, since 2022. If you knew me then, you don't know me now. I'm brand new. Before that verse, all that was originally there. Everything after that, I was coming at people's necks. So you're welcome. You're welcome to everybody I had called out in the original verse. That verse will never come out. But I had to come from a place of like, what am I trying to say? Like, I was hurt so bad on that project, on the original verse, that I had to reevaluate. And that's how you get the verse that I ended up putting out.
Gotcha.
Are you happy?
I am happy, and I appreciate it because you went crazy on it. Like, I really love that verse, and I think your brother would be very proud if he was to hear that shit.
Stop mentioning.
You know, and I love her brother too. Like, he's a good guy. But when I wrote that song, I didn't know. I knew it was a good song, but I didn't know it would pull out emotions like that. And it just so happened we were working on that song, I guess, during the time that she was dealing with this. So I just wanted the people to kind of hear that as well, because it's probably a lot of you guys who hear this music can be going through similar situations, and she took the time out to, take her time with it. And sometimes in life you have to take your time. You got to think about things before you do it, especially when it comes to music, because when people latch on to your music, they really latch on and they really believe the things that you say, so we just like in our name, we want to be truthful with the things that we're saying, and yeah, and I really appreciate that, because you took the song to a whole nother level, than what I intended, for it to be in the first place.
It only took trauma.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that, but yeah.
Not sometimes it takes that. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. One question. Where do you rank this project out of all of the projects that you've created yourself and been a part of?
It's number one.
It's number one?
It's the most refined. It's the most creative. It's the most... I have a lot of stuff that I just haven't put out. And even what I was going to put out before the centuries came and ate up my life, it's like it needs to now go and be looked at over again. So, yeah, number one for you.
Cool. I think it's number one too.
Yeah.
I think it's number one too. It's just like the whole creative process behind it is like it's like we was acting the whole time. It's almost like we're in a audio movie. You know what I'm saying? We like really put Malik and Tadiwa into Jack and Jill, like literally, and just cultivated these characters into something real. Like literally, when you hear these stories, they're going to be relatable. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and the process was 3 years. You know what I'm saying? We went through life changes through like we literally kind of like,
not that we got married, but
yeah.
we went to weddings, and
all of our friends are getting married.
Yeah, and
shit
people's like are having babies, and like we gained friends, we lost friends, like
we moved,
we did a lot. We had people who started the journey with us who ain't ending it. So it's been a fun time, and so we have this conversation. Do you have more questions? I was gonna close it out.
I think we could close it for real.
But we are having this conversation with you guys just to, one, we've been posting a lot of pictures, putting out a bunch of songs, and I don't know that we have any content that really shows who we are as people.
For sure.
And to let y'all know, like, this is like so important to us. And also proof that he speaks, because not a lot of people think that he talks, and he in fact does.
I definitely talk.
And he can talk a lot sometimes, actually.
Yeah.
So those are jokes, but yeah, and we're just really happy to share this project with you guys, and hope that you will continue to follow us on the journey, because there is a lot more in store, and we plan to continue creating roads. It may not always be Jack and Jill. It may be
Tom and Jerry, like shit.
Adam and Eve, you know. That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, she said it all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Follow us on Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, everything.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck an X is.
I'm just being politically correct.
Fuck politics.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and all the streaming platforms, because we on all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And go check out our last video, Jill Scotch.
Yes.
Also the phone song. Did that at the end of 2023. Yeah, man. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe.
All right. Peace.
Peace.